Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another beer reviews. Today we're going to be trying a Berliner Kindl Weisse beer. And this is a bit of an unusual style from Germany. Obviously Berliner, it's made in Berlin, and this is actually a wheat beer of sorts. It's about 30 to 50% worth of the grade is actually wheat, but unusually it's actually got a sour flavour to it. It either undergoes a secondary fermentation process that gives it a bit of a sour flavour, or they kind of deliberately add lactobacillus into the beers, and hence it's quite an unusual beer, having a bit of a mix of kind of the lambic styles of Belgium, but also the kind of typical wheat beer flavours of spicy and banana and clovey sort of things. I've never tried them before, so I'm quite intrigued to give it a shot. This is the original from Berlin, if you can see on top there. This is often served with like a raspberry liquor, like flavoured like syrups, fruity syrups and things like that. So I'm going to try it straight without it and give like the best opinion I can on the beer without any kind of artificial flavourings or sweetness or anything. So without further ado, pop the cap. It also says that you should serve it in a nice kind of open cup glass, so I'm gonna go for the nice left glass with this one because it's got more of a bowl shape to it anyway. And there we are. There's a nice amount of head on that actually. It's a good 1.5 to 2 fingers worth of head, and it's a fantastic pale lemony yellow colour, and it's just about starting to lace a bit on the side of the glasses. Lovely and thick foamy head, nice kind of quite small bubbles actually, but it's kind of thicker in the middle. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but you probably can't. And there's some carbonation on the side of the glasses as well, although there's not much bubbling going on the inside. So in terms of aromas, straight off you can smell the funkiness of it. It has it's a kind of sweet smelling funkiness that kind of goes hand in hand with the lactobacillus. It doesn't smell straight out trashy like some of the lambics and gurzas do. It smells a little bit sweeter than that, and it smells like there's a little bit of fruit on the palate as well. Kind of lemony sort of flavours coming through as well, which is, it kind of goes hand in hand with the sourness, and you probably can see now that the head's actually kind of dissipated quite fast and there's not much left, and it's definitely lacing on the side of the glasses now as well. So without further ado, let's give it a try to a style. If you see my reviews of the gurzas and lambics, you know that I quite like these sour beers, and I do like to go in kind of raw with them. I like the proper sour beer. So let's give it a try to a German interpretation. Oh, that's got an interesting flavour to it actually. I'm just going to have another try. Now what I can taste is the lemon and honey strepsils, throat sweets. It's got, I find a really distinct honey note rippling through it there. It's got the sourness, the sour and kind of lemony flavours, the tart and sour lemon flavours that I was expecting with the smell, and the kind of secondary lactobacillus fermentation, the sour flavours I was expecting. But there's this lovely little sweet note coming through at the back of the palate. I can only assume it's from the malts because I'm pretty sure, I mean off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure it hasn't got any honey in it. I'm fairly sure it hasn't. So it must be the wheaty flavours coming through, but kind of coming through as a bit of honey for me. Yeah, it's kind of honey and a little bit of spiciness. That wheat kind of character kind of coming through. And it's delightfully light and refreshing. It feels very wet. The bitterness might be quite dry, but it feels very wet and quenching, like the kind of bitter lemon flavour. And there's a lovely carbonation as well actually. It's nice and fizzy and bubbly on the tongue, and it feels very light and refreshing. And it's only 3%, so there's no alcoholic kick to it, and it feels quite I can see how you'd sit outside in a beer garden with one of these and it'd be a lovely and refreshing and light and easygoing beer, despite that kind of bitter flavour. If you like bitter flavours, it's lovely, it's very pleasant, it's not overpowering and overabundant. And I quite like it actually, if truth be told. It's not the most complex or exciting of the lactic beers or secondary fermented or sour or lambic or Guernsey sort of style beers. It's not as complex and it's not as sort of sit and enjoy and kind of think over the flavours and enjoy it. It's very simple and plain. It's kind of lemony, hint of sweetness, this honey kind of spiciness, nice wet and smooth carbonation, and I can assure you, you'd glug it down. You'd really glug it down. And the sourness isn't. It does stay there in the aftertaste, but the initial real kick of it is gone quite soon, which is a nice texture. It's nice because it's not overpowering, like I said, and it kind of when it goes sour and then the sourness dissipates, it leaves another kind of sweet flavour in the mouth again, which is a very pleasant sort of aftertaste that develops. And all in all, I must say this is it's enjoyable. I could definitely sit down and try it. It's certainly not groundbreaking by any means, and I think it's probably a good solid 7 out of 10. In fact, it's very drinkable, and I definitely have it again. I'm quite intrigued to maybe try it with some of the syrups and different flavours. I believe one of the favourite ones is quite an unusual one. Unfortunately, it's on German in the back, but I believe they've got a kind of woody, herby, spicy mix, some kind of berry, I believe, if I was reading rightly, that they kind of add, or strawberries, or raspberries, or any of the kind of above sort of flavourings, and see what that does. Because imagine it lifts the sweetness and kind of lightness and drinkability of the beer even further. So yeah, all in all, this is quite enjoyable. It maybe it might be a really good introduction into the lambics and Guernsey kind of styles. These sour fermented beers. As a nice little entryway, rather than getting the super sweet Faroes by the Lindeman's Faro that I reviewed right near back at the start of the reviews I started doing. This one might be quite a nice, gentle introduction to a non-sweetened one. And this is very pleasant. So, like, favourite, comment, subscribe on the video. Tell me what you think if you've ever tried a Berliner Kindl Weisse beer. It's a good. So, cheers guys.